Hercules, Hercules! There's a Hawkeye headed to the land of cheese. The Green Bay Packers selecting Lukas Van Ness with the 13th overall pick. A comic book character frame that boasts a power-first approach. Van Ness joining a Packers pass rush that struggled a season ago. Back in studio with the two-time champ, the draft analyst, Joe Musso here as well. Let's get to Pete Prisco for a grade here on Van Ness. Pete, I know a lot of people were high on this talent, maybe a little earlier than we thought. What's the grade?
Yeah, it's a little earlier than I would have expected, although you heard a lot of teams really were high on him. This is one of those players, when you look at him on paper, you got to project, because he never was the player at Iowa. In fact, he didn't start that many people expected him to be. I think he might end up having a better NFL career in terms of the numbers he puts up. I like him as a player. He makes a lot of plays with effort. The question becomes, can he translate it to the next level and really turn himself into a top-tier defensive lineman? I think he's going to be good. I don't know if he'll be great, so I gave this a B-.
A B- from Pete. Back in studio with the guys, Ryan Wilson, Bryant McFadden. Ryan, a lot of power in this frame, but a little bit straight line for the next level. How do you project him here when he does start going up against the creme de la creme with those tackles really wanting to neutralize him?
He's actually pretty twitched up for 275, 6'5", ran in the 4. He might run in the 4.5s, B-Mac. I think.
High 4.5s.
So that gets your attention for sure. But to your point, and as Pete noted, he hasn't played a lot of football because he didn't start at Iowa. He actually told a story when we spoke with him the other day, B-Mac, where he went up against Peter Skoronski in high school, and he said Peter Skoronski ate his lunch, and he realized he needed to get better because Peter Skoronski was all business, and he has made those leaps. Now, I've talked to teams, and I said, to your point, Joe, I don't see first-round talent. This was back in the fall, and they said he's going to put on 15 pounds, and he's young. You just wait and see. And the comps I've heard in terms of guys that don't necessarily turn it on in college because they need time to grow into the role, George Karlaftis, late first-round pick last year for the Chiefs. He hadn't played a lot of football coming out of Purdue. He had a great rookie season. Drake Jackson, the big defensive end out of USC, he did some things in San Francisco that we didn't necessarily see for the Trojans, and I think that's how you have to think about it when you look at this pick here for Lukas Van Ness, who's a fantastic athlete.
Not starting one game, but still providing double-digit sacks. Something about him, he knows how to get home. The backfield is home in regards to pass rushers, defensive linemen. So that's unique in regards to what he provides. Not to mention the point of attack. He can set the edge, extremely strong in the trenches. Remember, Rashawn Gary got injured a year ago, so not knowing exactly the status for him moving forward and how soon he will be healthy. You still have Preston Smith there as well. So this is a move in regards to adding depth to the defensive line, to the pass rushing position for the Green Bay Packers. And when you look at the pass rushers that are available, the next best up was Lukas.
Right.
Lukas Van Ness heading to Green Bay. A quick trip up 151, 5 or so hours. Iowa City to Green Bay. Going to try and add something to that pass rush that left plenty to be desired a year ago. And no starts, no problem. Lukas Van Ness, 19 tackles for a loss over the last 2 seasons. He'll look to wreak havoc in the NFC North.